Okay, I'll officially open the April full council meeting open. And firstly, I will call for apologies, which I have been given from Councillor Williams and Chief Executive Officer Williams, not related, Mr. Rob Williams and Mrs. Nicola Williams. Could I have a mover, please? Move, Councillor Crate. Second, Councillor Kirk. All in favour? Aye. Just a small bit of housekeeping, please. If you would just speak into your mics when you do speak at some time. We're still getting people saying that they can't hear us on webcam. So without any further ado, I'll move to item number 1, which is a presentation from Sports Advisory Council and Sport Waikato, a joint presentation. So on behalf of my councillors, I welcome Mark O'Callaghan and Christine Belfort. I see you there. Please proceed. Is there a PowerPoint presentation with it or just a verbal? Okay, that's fine, Christine. Right, we'll just get another microphone hooked up for you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillors, as we said in our presentation that you have in front of you, we appreciate the opportunity to speak as we do every year. It's nice to come along. We've brought with us our latest colleague in the Sport House, Sue McLean, who runs the Kiwi Sport program for schools, and she'll tell you a bit about herself. If there's any questions that you have regarding the report, we'll be happy to, about the reports, we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. But perhaps to start off, we might ask Sue to just give everybody a rundown on her role in the sporting community.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Sue McLean. I'm the Taupo Kiwi Sport Coordinator. I started the job in September last year, and basically my role is working with schools and clubs in Taupo and gelling them together and getting a high level of participation with all children in sport. I work very closely with 15 to 20 Kiwi Sport officers that are based in Hamilton and work with them to implement programs within the primary schools. At present, we are having huge success in our local primary schools, just started working in the intermediate, and a focus is to now work on leadership and target the high schools. And my report is there, and I'm not sure if you've all read it, but if there are any questions about that. So basically, that's what my role is. And we really are targeting the non-sporty children. There are lots of programs for our elite. It's about those children who are a little bit reluctant to put their hands up. And when my Kiwi Sport officers go into the schools, they are targeting every child, right through from 5-year-olds to 12-year-olds. So they've been doing it for 6 months, and we are having very big success, like I say, in the primary schools, and we are getting more children who are now going into the clubs. I work with the clubs to come in and talk with the Kiwi Sport officers and come into the schools when the Kiwi Sport officers are there. At the moment I've got volleyball in, so I work with the volleyball club, and hopefully we are actually getting more children involved in the clubs in Taupo.
Yes, Mr Mayor, councillors, we see our role as being an important one in the sporting community and in fact in the whole community. We've drawn up a graph there that you have in front of you that demonstrates our viewpoint as far as the sporting community and the District Council, the association that we have with Council and the sporting groups. We also find that sporting groups are finding us of more benefit to them. We are accessible where we are located. So deafening everybody there for a while. And we find that it is a very successful operation that we are conducting from the Sport House in Tamamuri Street. I think we'll leave ourselves open to questions now. Christine on her report and myself on the Sports Advisory Council report.
That graph you just referred to, Mr Cullen, I don't have that. Am I missing a page?
No. Yeah, we don't have the graph. No.
I don't have that graph. I don't know about my fellow councillors.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, we'll just get a copy for everybody. That's great. Okay, well, we'll open the floor as you've generously offered to councillors that want to comment or ask questions. Councillor Downer, Councillor Downer.
Well, obviously, I haven't got a question, Mark and Sue and Christine. I'll just endorse how much you do in our community, and especially the Kiwi sport that links clubs with school kids in schools, and also with the Sports Advisory Council on advice and where to go and what to do, and also helping out to facilitate those kids getting into sport. As you say, we've got fantastic programs out there with the Smith Sports Shoe and More FM scholarships, and also the the allocation of funds go out to those top sportsmen, and now Sue, with your job, getting in there and getting those 5 to 12-year-olds that do either don't get exposed to different sports or get the opportunity to participate, and now I've got that opportunity. So being involved with the Sports Advisory Council as Barry and Rex, I know what a fantastic, especially you, Mark, you're absolutely a gem in our community and the role that you do, and how much time and commitment that you put into I know it's virtually you put every hour and second into it, and I'd just like to say on behalf of myself as a councillor, thanks very much.
All right, Councillor Mincher.
Yeah, thanks. Once again, thanks for presenting and also the work you do. We've had an interesting day today, and part of that was a youth voice for the district with council. I don't know if you've seen that, but otherwise we should certainly send a copy to the whole district about Mangakino, Turangi and where sport sits with the youth. And this was between 10 to 12 and 24-year-olds. Yeah. So we found it most interesting this morning, and we'll fit in with what you're doing. So we must get you a copy.
Anything further from councillors?
Thank you.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you very much for coming along and presenting. I know you go the extra mile, all three of you, because you're passionate about your sport. I'd also like to take the opportunity, and perhaps we could minute it, that I would also like to thank Contact Energy for, again, putting the $100,000 grant up for the Swimwell program. I realise it's yearly, but I really would like to take the opportunity on behalf of my fellow councillors to thank Contact Energy for that very generous grant. But as I've told some of the councillors here before, I've been involved in 4 drownings since I've been the mayor in the Waikato River, so I'm very, very conscious of the Swimwell program, and I know my fellow councillors totally support it. So if there's no further question, but there is, hang on, Councillor Hickling.
Just a comment, Your Worship. This organisation does a tremendous lot of good work for the sporting community, and the tenure of the office I would like to put on an agenda item at some stage to get some more feedback, because it's of a little bit of a temporary situation, and I think perhaps not now, but in future we're going to have to look for a new home for the Sports Advisory Council.
Okay, well, I think we set a little bit of a trend this morning with 2 workshops we had, and I know my PA, Mrs Crawford, often sends out an agenda for when we have our council get-together workshops. Perhaps you might like to respond to Mrs Crawford at that time and have that as one of our agenda items, and we can see where we want to take it.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship.
So if there's nothing further from me, again, a big thank you very, very much, and look forward to seeing your splendid results for the year coming.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Oh, there is, and before you go, a little bit lax for me, but there is a motion on the first suggested resolution that the information be received that Mr Callaghan, Mrs Belfort and Suzanne, you weren't put in here, be thanked for their presentation, and that was moved by Councillor Downard and seconded by Councillor Hickling. All in favour?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Sorry?
We will have a submission coming in to Mr Mayor.
I hope we have time. Forgive me for that little bit of cynicism. We're still on agenda number item 1A, but it was put on the agenda, I think, last week that we are going